Once upon a time, there was a man named Solomon who built a mighty temple. But before long, the people of Judah turned away from God and began to worship foreign gods and idols. One day, God allowed the Babylonians to attack Judah and destroy the whole city, including God's temple. The people of Judah remained in captivity until one day, God raised up the prophet Haggai to inspire the people to get back to work, saying the time is now.
Hey, good morning. How are you guys doing? Man, you know what? I tell you, a tenth of an inch of ice and an eighth of an inch of snow ain't going to stop us from getting in here that fell yesterday. I tell you, anyway. Now, I knew that it's just a little dreary this weekend, and, I had made plans. I actually made plans this weekend on Friday night to not have to leave my house till Monday morning if it came to that, because the snowpocalypse was coming, and what came was absolutely nothing. But that's all right. You know what? We're still in here in God's house today. We're going to worship. I'm excited, man. I want to welcome you, whether you're here, whether you're joining us online on Facebook Live or joining us online later. I'm excited, and you guys got energy, Mike, today, okay? So be ready for today. I'm excited about the series that we're in right now, the series that as we kind of go from 2019 to 2020, and we had goals that we set for ourselves going in the new year. Thought it was very fitting that we talk about this story from the book of Haggai, from the Old Testament. And we started off last week in this series called The Time Is Now, because we set goals for ourselves in the new year as we get into it often, and we want to accomplish these goals, and I thought the story lined up perfectly with it. So this message is really just like a long message, like a 3-hour message, but I knew last week you guys would be incredibly mad at me if I just gave it to you in all one week. I got you here, we're going to lock the doors 3 hours, so I thought we better break that up into a few different weeks. So we're going to pick up where we left off, but I'm going to catch you up if you maybe missed where we were. I'm going to give you the real brief version, but you can always go back and check it out online. You can check it out on our Facebook page, Ignite Church TV, and you can we save all the live videos there. We also have them on our website. We have them on a podcast, whatever it is, but just so we're on the same page, I'm going to kind of catch you up with the story of where we are right now. So in King Solomon's 4th year of rule, he decided to build this temple. It was a glorious temple for God to be able to come and dwell in this temple, and the people could come to the temple and they could worship God. But as King Solomon died, the people kind of didn't have that reminder they were supposed to be worshiping God, and they began to kind of worship idols and worship other things. And so God allowed this series of events to happen to get these people back on focus or on track. So under under Nebuchadnezzar's rule, the temple was destroyed. The Jewish people were taken into captivity for 5 decades. And so you can imagine the relief and hope that 50 years after they had been in captivity, they're finally released and they're allowed to go rebuild this temple. They were so excited, but when they get there, they get the foundation in place, they get the altar in place and built, and then all of a sudden they figure out this is hard, man. There's some oppression by some people. The Samaritans were oppressing them, and they thought, you know what, maybe it's not time for us to build this temple. So they stopped. And for 14 years, they stopped and they began to work on their own houses. They stopped working on God's houses. And so in this time, God brings up this prophet Haggai to speak to the people in behalf of him and to get them back on track. And if you remember, the advice that God gave them was super simple. He said, you know what? You guys have stopped working on your house. You need to work on my house. They said, that's cool, but it's hard. I don't know what to do. And God said, 3 easy, simple steps. You go up to the mountain, you bring down the timber, you build my house. Just start right there. That's all you got to do is start right there. So, as we pick up there where we left off, we're at this point where they've decided, okay, I got to go up to the mountain, I got to bring down the timber, and I'm going to start working. So that's where we're going to pick up here in Haggai 1, 13 and 14. It says, then Haggai, the Lord's messenger, gave this message of the Lord to the people. I am with you, declares the Lord. So the Lord stirred up the spirit in Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and he stirred up the spirit of Joshua, son of Josedek, the high priest, and the spirit of the whole remnant of the people. So what it's really saying there, like these names I can't even say them. I've got them phonetically in my notes so I can read them to you today. But, it gets confusing. But what he's really saying is God stirs up the spirit of the governor and the high priest and the people. He goes to them and he says, come on, you're ready. You can do this. And God gets them ready. And God does that with us sometimes too. Like he stirs up our spirit and he says, here's the thing you're going to do. And here's what I'm calling you to do. And we go, yeah, we can do it, God. And God, you sent them off. Come on, let's do it. And that's where these people were. They were excited. And all the people were ready to rebuild this temple again after God told them to go up to the mountain and bring down the timber. And so they go after it and they attack it like nothing else, the same that we do when we get excited about something. It says, so then they came and they began work on the house of the Lord Almighty, their God. Man, we can do this, they're saying. They're so excited. We can do this. Can we fix it? Hey, there we go, Bob the Builder fans. I was hoping I could draw you in with that. That's the spirit they had at that moment. It was like, man, we can do this. Let's go out there. We can do it. And then 1 month goes by, and they're done. Again, 1 month. See, what happened was there was this religious festival that was going on, and all the people came to the temple, and they saw what they had built, and they said, really? This is it? This is all you guys have done? And they got so incredibly discouraged. I mean, other people are like, this looks nothing like King Solomon's temple. I don't know what you guys are doing. And so this discouragement came along 1 month after they worked on it. 1 month. And they just quit. They went from, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this, to, I don't really think we can do this anymore. But let's be honest. How often does that happen in our life? We're gonna attack something. We're gonna go after it. We're gonna go get it. We go out there with all gusto. I'm very aware that I have this problem myself in my own life. My wife had made me aware of that. I didn't realize it, but I decided I'm gonna do something, and man, I'm gonna do it. I go all out. I get ready to attack it. One of my most recent adventures, which I've been on probably about 3 times, is I'm gonna learn how to fly a drone, man. Drones are so. See, I love videography. I love making movies. I love putting together stories, whether it's a story I want to capture or capturing somebody else's story and just getting that essence. And it's one of my favorite things. And in these videos I watch from other people, this drone footage that you can get just adds so much. And so this is my goal. I'm going to learn how to fly a drone. And so I decide I'm going to learn how to fly a drone. I go buy a drone. I get it home. I'm watching all the YouTube videos. I'm reading all the reviews. I'm gonna decide what, this is going to be the best thing. I pour everything I have into whatever this is, whether it's drone flying or some other hobby or thing that I want to do that I'm ready to attack and go all after. But so quickly, my drone flying experience doesn't even last through the first battery cycle of flying the drone before I quit and I give up. As a matter of fact, I actually have a video up here I was going to share with you guys of this last year that I decided that I was going to fly a drone. So here it is. I'm walking it down. This is the day I got it. I was so excited. This is a cool drone. It folds out, and I bring it up. There I am in the yard. Man, I liked it when it was green. It's all brown and nasty now, but it's a little wobbly, and I'm kind of getting the idea and getting the hang of it as it rises up. It'll spin around here in just a second. Look, you can see me. There I am. There's my legs. Anyway, you can see how confused I look. I'm like, what in the world am I doing? But I'm flying this thing, and so I kind of here in just a second, I'll get control, and I'm like, man, I got this. I'm figuring this out. It starts rising up, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to take this out in the yard, and and then I crashed it. And I honestly folded up the drone after that and put it back in the package, and it sat in my cabinet for 4 months until I gave it away to somebody else. But see, that's what we do so much, isn't it? Like, we are all in. We are going to attack this. Well, I can do this. Come on, man, let's build this temple. We can do it. We're so excited. And then 1 month later, we're done. I mean, we do this with things in our life. We're going to get out of debt. We're going to get out of debt. I'm not going to spend more than I make. I'm going to quit putting things on credit card. Oh, but it's Christmas time, and I got to spend all the money on Christmas, Or we're going to diet, I'm going to lose weight. But that donut at church, man, that looks good. I'm going to go after that donut. Wait, it's so quick. I'm going to go to the gym. And in January, man, gym memberships spike up, and tons of people are in the gym in January. But come February, they're all gone. There's nobody there anymore. So we have this idea that we can do this, And the same thing happened to these people. Is we can do this. We're going to do this for God. And 1 month in, they're like, man, no, I'm just discouraged. These people don't really like what we're doing. So I want to read this next bit of scripture in here where God has Haggai ask this question to the people. And if you're discouraged today, perhaps some of the things that are discouraging you in life, some of the things that are keeping you down can kind of be found in this question here. In Haggai 2:3 it says, "Who of you is left who saw this house in its former glory?" In other words, who is old enough to remember the old temple that was up here, you know? And he says, "How does it look to you now? Does it not seem to you like nothing?" So there's two reasons why we get discouraged a lot that we can see. If you're taking notes, the first reason is for comparisons. We get discouraged because of comparisons. And the second is for a lack of progress. We get discouraged for comparing our life with others, and we get discouraged because of that lack of progress. Very certainly, these people were doing that. These people were getting frustrated with the comparison of the temple they were building to the temple of King Solomon. They were comparing the start of their temple with the finish of another temple. In fact, a lot of the Bible scholars say that Haggai at this time was probably about 70, 75. So you can imagine that Haggai himself could remember the former temple. He would have been in his 20s when the temple was destroyed, so he can remember the temple before it was destroyed. And here he is, at 75, and there's definitely that sense of comparison amongst a lot of the people. I don't know about you, but I get incredibly discouraged sometimes whenever I think about those comparisons that I make in my life or somebody else's life. It reminds me of when my wife and I first started going to small group with another church years ago, and we were in our 20s, we were younger, we had little kids, and most of the other people in the group had teenagers. I'm not going to say they're old because they're my age now, but they're like 45, 40 around there. But they had established lives and had grown up and gone through life. And I just remember going to their houses. I mean, we lived in this shack. I think we lived in that shack. I don't know if it was after we had moved it on up to the east side or not after that. But our first house that we had was 2 bedrooms, but it was 4 rooms, period. That's all it was, Kitchen, living room. It was just a square 4 rooms, and there you go. A little house, and we're going to these people's houses, and there's big houses, and they're decorated all beautiful. And man, I just felt so out of place, but I was comparing myself to them. I wanted to be where they were, but here I am. I'm just 20 years old. I haven't established myself. I don't have a career. I've got little kids that are tearing up the house, and they've got grown kids. And so I felt out of place, but I made myself feel out of place. It's not that they loved us. They were great people, all of them in that group. But I made myself feel out of place because I was comparing me now, comparing my beginning to their finished temple. And we do that a lot in our lives. We compare our lives that we have now with other people's, and it gets incredibly depressing and disappointing. And you're like, you know what? This guy, man, he's got a nice house and a nice car and a great job, and I live in this shack, and my car barely starts, and I hate my job. Or, we compare kids sometimes. We compare our kids to other people. These people's kids, they're perfect. They all are dressed exactly matching every day. Their hair's perfect. Their clothes are perfect. They go to school every day with homemade lunches. They're in 5th grade getting college credit already. And here's my kids. I'm lucky if my kids have pants on when they get out of the house, they forget their lunch money. And man, my kid's so dumb, he's failing PE class, So we do these comparisons with other people, and then we feel incredibly disappointed in ourselves, incredibly disappointed in who we are. I mean, if you want to feel like a massive failure, all you have to do is reach out to some place like Pinterest. And that'll make you feel like a massive failure when you start comparing yourself to that. These houses that people have that they decorate perfectly, and these crafts that they do that are so, and the room moms on there, oh my gosh, they make these little animal things and whatever. I got a few pictures up here that I was going to show you guys of. These are like the idea that I have versus what comes out whenever I do this Pinterest stuff. So first thing I got here is the bunny pancake. Man, you're going to make the bunny pancake. It's going to be awesome, and your kids are going to be so excited, but that's usually what my bunny pancake looks like when it's done. Or it's birthday party time, and Olaf, we're going to have a frozen party. And you find this thing on Pinterest, but yeah, mine pretty much ends up looking like that one on the right there. Ghosts, it's Halloween time. Look at these beautiful ghosts that we're making out of strawberries. And those definitely look like ghosts. But, and then there's the kitty cat cake, man. My kid loves kitty cats so much. And so you find this, but yeah, the reality there, that is a pretty demonic looking kitty cat, honestly. But anyway, so it's kind of funny, but we have these comparisons that we have in life. We go on Instagram and we see, this guy's on 3 vacations and I can't even afford to go to the grocery store. That's not quite fair. Or their picture got more likes than my picture got likes, and my picture was better than their picture. Whatever it is, I didn't get invited to that party. Or we compare all these parts of our life, and then we feel incredibly disappointed in ourselves because we're not living up to our expectations that somebody else is putting out there for us. We compare all these things just like these people, and we think, man, what is wrong with me? What did I do? I'm trying hard, but I'm not making it to this place that I'm comparing myself to. This is our little pathetic attempt to build this temple, is how these people were feeling as people came in and said, is this it? Is this all you got? So there's also this lack of progress that they had as to where they were. They're 1 month in and things aren't going very well. And they get frustrated from this lack of progress. They're trying so hard, but yet they're not getting anywhere. And sometimes that can be what discourages us, is this lack of progress. Like you're on a diet and you're doing nothing but eating weeds and nuts every day of your life, and you're working out, and then you get on the scale and you're like, I gained 2 pounds. And you're like, man, is it even worth it? Is this worth it to go through all that eating weeds and junk and gross stuff all the time to gain 2 pounds? Or anytime you start a project, you just kind of feel like, you take 2 steps forward on it, but then it's 3 steps backwards all of a sudden. Or maybe it's with your spiritual life. Maybe that's where you feel like you have this lack of progress, where you're like, I'm trying so hard to do the right thing. I'm trying to go closer to Jesus. But man, I just can't stop saying bad words. They just keep slipping out of my mouth. I'm trying so hard, but I don't even know if it's worth it to continue that, because I'm not getting anywhere that I want to be. I go to church to worship God, and then I leave, and I just slide back into the same place that I was before. You think that by this time you'd be better off. You think that by this time you'd make it further than you are. I'm trying my best, but I'm not making any progress. And then you feel like the people did after 1 month, and they just give up. You're like, it's not worth it. You may be feeling like that in your life right now. And maybe, something like your marriage. And you're like, man, I'm trying so hard to make my marriage work. But it's just not going anywhere. It doesn't matter what I do. It's not getting to the place that I want it to be. You're like, is this even worth it anymore to keep trying? Or maybe with your kids, you're like, I'm praying for my kids all the time. I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to. I'm teaching them the way that I'm supposed to. I'm showing them what they need to know. I'm trying to make sure that they're involved in church. And then they go out and they do something or they say something. And I just think to myself, man, could you be any stupider? Why would you do that? And you're just trying so hard. And you feel like you're not getting anywhere. There's no progress. It's so discouraging. Maybe some sin that just keeps consuming your life, that you're just trying to get past and you can't. And it just becomes so discouraging that you're just ready to give up. I want to be real honest with you guys right now. And I debated talking about this. I debated back and forth whether to bring this up today. And I decided that I wanted to, mainly because I don't want to ever be the guy that stands up here and says, oh, y'all got to do this, but I'm perfect. So I thought, I really am I'm not going to tell you this story so that you come up to me after and you say, oh, Mike, you're awesome, or oh, Mike, you're great, or give me affirmation, or what. I don't want any of that at all. I'm really just telling you this just so you can just hear my heart for a second. And just hear just a true, honest story, because that's the one thing I've always wanted to be up here, is just honest with people. But I live in this constant state of discouragement myself. Sometimes it's really high, and sometimes it's low, but just consistently, I'm discouraged. I'm discouraged with myself as a pastor a lot of times. I think to myself, if I would have just made better decisions, man, we would have grown faster. If I would have just said something different. If I would have just been a better speaker on stage. If I got up here and if I rehearsed my notes or went over them or knew them better. If I could be a better speaker, then we probably would be where we want to be. We could grow to the place that we're supposed to be. And God, we're not like I thought it was going to happen. None of this has happened, and I just get discouraged with myself. After today's message, I will go through and I will listen to this message 3 times. I will play it over in my head. I will listen to it whenever I'm putting the video together. And I don't do that because I'm egocentric. I do that because I'm highly critical of everything I do, everything I say up here. I say, I shouldn't have said that. I should have said that. I'm talking too fast. You don't know how many times I get there and I'm like, Mike, slow down. Mike, I can't do it. It's a video, But I just am so critical of all that, and I put all that weight on my shoulders. I get really disappointed in myself because of the things that I've done to other people that have come to church here. Like, I should have said this, or I shouldn't have said this, or I should have been better caring to them, or I wasn't caring enough, or whatever it is. I overanalyze every one of those situations. I get really disappointed and defeated sometimes because I'm like, you know what? If I just was a better speaker, then the guy that came last week would come back next week, and it's probably my fault that they didn't. If I would have greeted them, or if I wouldn't have greeted them, or if I would have gone out more, if I wouldn't, but whatever it is, I just analyze every bit of every situation, and I put all that on my shoulders. I feel like everything that goes on here is because of what I can do and I can change, and they're my problems and they're my flaws that I didn't. I get real discouraged because of my own sinfulness. I mean, I'm a follower of Jesus, and I'm a pastor, and then sometimes I do stuff that just breaks the heart of God, and I'm just like, God, why would I do that? Why would I say that? Why would I think that about that person? And it just discourages me and frustrates me. I get really discouraged because, I try to work hard on these messages every week. I put them together, and I try to come up with stupid drone stories and stuff like that, And I just think, this is going to be awesome. It's going to be perfect. And then you come in, and there's a football game on today, and we can't go to church. Or it snowed 1/10 of an inch yesterday, so we can't go to church. And then you come in, and nobody's here. And you just think, man, if I just were a better communicator, then it would fix all that. I just spend my life in this discouragement all the time. And you may think, Mike, why in the world are you telling us this? Well, maybe it's because I want you to be on the same level of depression that No, I'm kidding. I really wanted to say that because I want you to realize. I want you to just open your mind and open your heart and realize. The discouragement you feel may not be about the same things that I feel, but we all face discouragement in our life. Every one of us are discouraged somewhere. And we think to ourselves, I'm the only one that thinks this way. I'm the only one that has these problems. I'm the only one that faces constant discouragement in my life because of decisions I made or things that I did. But that's not true. We're all facing discouragement in ourselves in some point of our life. Many of us are facing it constantly every day, and we're discouraged about something that's happening, some outside interference. So what do you do if you find yourself continuously discouraged? So I want to show you what God tells us people to do. They're building this temple. It's not going well. They get discouraged. They stop building the temple. And God comes to them in just the most loving, simple advice that you could possibly imagine. Remember last week whenever they stopped building it the first time and we said, this is the most loving, simple advice that God could give them. Go up to the mountain, bring down the timber, build my house. Simple as that, loving and simple. God continues to do this after they stopped building the temple last time. So here it is, a month later, after they were discouraged and they stopped building it. Here's what God says in Haggai 2:4. He says, but now be strong, Zerubbabel, declares the Lord. Be strong, Joshua. Be strong, all of you people of the land, declares the Lord, and work. Be strong and work. Be strong and work. That's what God tells us to do. He says, be strong. And when you're discouraged, be strong and work. For I am with you, declares the Lord. He says, be strong. When you're discouraged, be strong and do the work. Be strong and do the work. When you're facing oppression, you got to be strong and do the work. When you're discouraged and you want to give up and things aren't going your way, be strong and do the work. But the great thing is we don't have to be strong on our own. We live in this New Testament world. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead is the same Spirit that lives in us. And he says, be strong with me, for I am with you. Be strong and do the work. We don't have to be strong on our own. We have God to be strong with us. He says, be strong and do the work, for I am with you. In other words, you don't have to be strong on your own strength. You have the strength of Christ. When you're weak, when you're ready to give up, when you're done, be strong and do the work. Whenever you're discouraged, whenever you're deflated, whenever you're disappointed, whenever you don't like where you are in your life, be strong and do the work. Notice that he doesn't say, go talk the talk, or he doesn't say, go compare the results with other people. He says, be strong and do the work. You might think, God, I just put the stone over here. And I'm looking at it and it doesn't look any different. God says, put down another stone. But I just did put down another stone. Be strong and do the work. Consistently continue to do the last thing that God told you to do. Be strong, do the work. Put down another stone. Be strong. Do the work. Keep doing that last thing that God told you to do. It'd be easy to go home. It'd be easy to say it's hot out here. It'd be easy to say, you know what, this isn't working, I'm discouraged, and things aren't going my way. But God says, no, just put another stone. Well, I didn't do it. Put another stone. Well, put another stone. Be strong and do the work. And put another stone. And put another stone. And put another stone. Successful people do consistently what normal people do occasionally. I'll say that again. Successful people do consistently what normal people do occasionally. Be strong. Do the work. Put down another stone. Be strong. Keep praying. Keep reading your Bible. Be strong. Do the work. Do the thing that's the hard right over the thing that's the easy wrong. Keep eating right. Keep paying off your bills. It may just be $10 a month, but your bills are going down when you're paying your bills. Keep working out. Keep going to the gym. Be strong and do the work. Keep praying for your children. Keep praying for your husband. Keep praying for your wife. It may not look like it's making a big difference, but we got to be strong and do the work. This is exactly whatever I do whenever I get that discouraged. I keep showing up. I keep showing up. I got to be strong and do the work. I face that discouragement all the time, but I say the same Jesus Christ lives in me that came to this earth, that was born, that died, that rose again, and I'm going to do everything I can to talk about it. That's what God has called me to do. I'm going to be strong and do the work. You're going to have to put bars and chains on that door for me not to show up. The discouragement is there, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put down another stone. I'm going to put down another stone. I'm going to put down another stone. And I keep saying, God, you know what? We don't look like Life Church. We don't look like Elevation. We don't look like the Old Ignite. And God says, you know what? You're not building Solomon's temple. You're building the temple that I have for you. I have a plan for you. I've prepared this for you. This is, don't worry what they're doing. Quit comparing yourself. Be strong and do the work. Lay another stone. Lay another stone. Keep showing up. Keep doing. Keep praying. Keep reading your Bible. Keep dieting. Keep going. Be strong and do the work. And that's the encouragement that we need to get through that discouragement that we have. I'm going to close out real quick with Galatians 6:9. Sorry, I got a little fired up there. But I'm going to close out real quick with Galatians 6:9. Man, I love this. It says, let us not become weary in doing good. For at the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Man, it's so easy to be comparing yourself to somebody else and say, I want what they have now. I mean, I may have only been doing this for 3 weeks, but I want what they have right now. And so then we don't have it and we just give up. But man, we got to be strong. We got to keep showing up. We got to do the work. When we face that discouragement that we have, remember, God has a plan for your life, and it may not be their plan, and it may not look just like what they have, but God has a specific plan for your life of what you're going to do and where you're going to go, and your job and your responsibility is to just keep doing the last thing that God told you to do. Keep doing the work. Keep doing the work. Lay another stone. Show up. Never give up. Keep doing the work. And pray with you guys as we close out today. Dear Jesus, man, I love you so much, Lord. I just want to thank you, thank your Father for this message that you've sent us, this book of Haggai that has such valuable information as we go through life and face this discouragement. It just seems so easy to give up. Man, it seems so easy to do the wrong thing and just stop. Whenever we are comparing our lives to somebody else, whenever we look at what they have and we think, man, I can never get there, I'm just going to give up. But Lord, I thank you for this message that you've sent us today that just tells us and reminds us that we got to keep showing up. We got to keep showing up. We got to keep doing the work. We got to be strong. We got to lay another stone, Lord, that we need to not give up in whatever we do, that you have called us to do something great. You have called us to whatever it is this season, whatever these goals that we've set for ourselves, as big or as minuscule as they are, whether they're spiritual or whether we're going to do something in our own lives to better it or something in our families or something in relationship. These are goals that you have called us to do, and you've stirred up this energy inside of us, Lord. And I just pray today that as you stir up this energy, that you would continue to just speak those words to us all over, every day, over and over this week, to be strong, do the work, be strong, do the work, show up, don't give up and lay another stone, Lord. Lord, I am excited to get to go out there another week and be strong and do the work that you have for us, Lord. I pray that if anybody's facing this discouragement today, that you could just be that blanket of comfort to them, that you could just be that peace and that humbleness that they have whenever they're going through this time where they feel like, man, it's just so much easier to give up, that you could just stir up your spirit within them and just speak to them and say, be strong. Keep doing the work. Lord, I pray this in your glorious name. Amen.